What's going on, guys? Gomes here back again on another MLB The Show 19 Diamond Dynasty video. We just completed all of the moments extreme, both the cautionary and warning, and must I say, more like moments mild. I don't know, I'll get into it a little bit more as we progress on the video, but I did not find it entirely that difficult. It took me about 6 hours in total to do, but if you guys could quickly leave a like down below on this video, subscribe if you guys are new. Really helpful tips that I will be giving to you guys in this video, so that really would mean a bunch to me if you could do so. But let's get right into it with the moments. Of course, we are going to start out with the cautionary tales, and like I said, I do quickly want to say I believe this is absolutely worth it. It's not for the faint of heart. You know, there were some times where I got frustrated. I never lost my cool. I didn't break anything, as you guys can see, or at least nothing I broke that you guys can see, but you know, I think it's definitely worth it. You know, 75,000 XP, 50,000 stubs, 2 great signature series cards, a guaranteed signature pack, which I'll have my pack opening with all the free packs and loot that I got tomorrow. But this is really worth it. Let's start out with this one right here, length 3 games. This one right here, you're basically just going up against Aaron Hicks, Aaron Judge, and Giancarlo Stanton. I didn't find this one that difficult. I got it done on the first try. Really, the important thing here is just to mix pitches, and you are going to be using your Diamond Dynasty team's closer. Keep in mind that you're facing all righties in Stanton, Judge, and Hicks, so maybe if you want to have a righty, I personally use Billy Wagner. That's the guy that was already out there. I had no issues with it. Like I said, I didn't have to restart it. But once again, I'm going to introduce the dashboard method to you guys right here, because a lot of people still don't understand it, so I quickly want to go over it. If you guys already know about the dashboard method, feel free to move on a little bit further into the video, because, you know, this is more or less redundant, but some people might not know about the dashboard method quite yet, and some people do just do not really understand it, so I'm going to explain it one more time. The dashboard method is an alternative way in order to save your progress and not have to restart from square one. So this is used in multi-game moments, and it is not hitting R1 to reset the moment. That is something entirely different. What we're looking at right here, let's say for example I am on my last game and I can tell that they are going to get a hit, and what you're going to do, so let's just say for example, because you cannot walk a batter right here, let's just get this to a 3-1 count, for example, right here. It would work better if it was for a hit. This isn't the greatest example to give, but let's just say I see this right here. I'm like, oh shoot, that's going to be a ball. What we're going to do is we're going to go back and hit the dashboard right here, and what that's going to do is it's not going to make us fail that mission. If that pitch landed inside the catcher's mitt, it would have automatically just canceled the moment, and you would have had to start from square one because you failed it. So the entire multi-game moment, you cannot walk one single batter, give up a single hit, and you know, just based on the mission requirements. So instead of doing that, since you know we already wanted to have that progress that we had, we were already done with 2 games, we don't want to have to start from square one. So if we do the dashboard, we're going to be at that same game. It's not going to show you that once again because I've already completed the moment, but let's say if I was at 1 game remaining, I had already completed 2 games, I would have that same progress and you would not lose it. That is why the dashboard method is so good. I'm going to reference the dashboard method later on in this video, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's what I'm talking about right there. I've talked it in plenty of other videos, so that is the dashboard method right there, otherwise not too difficult. This one, 6 games with Reggie Jackson, tallied 9 hits and 5 extra base hits. I cruise controlled past this. This was extremely easy for me. This is going to follow, and I know it's a bit hard to just say, but being patient is key. You're going to have to wait for your pitch. A lot of these are on All-Star or Hall of Fame difficulty, so they are going to throw balls. You just have to wait for your pitch. I used regular zone hitting PCI. You know, I find for like rookie or veteran, sometimes on those tops now ones where it's 1 plate appearance, then you can use kind of the directional hitting and do a little bit better. But for this, where you have to line up your PCI and you're going to want to make solid contact, that's the best I can offer. There's definitely times where I squared it up and it just lined out to them, which is frustrating, but be patient, wait for your pitch, don't swing at the first pitch. And also something I want to talk about within these, and this goes for all hitting moments, if they ever get you at a 3 any ball count. If it's 3-0, 3-1, always swing no matter where it is. And even if it's just like, even if it's a horrible pitch, just swing the bat, because if you walk, that's not going to help you towards 9 hits and 5 extra base hits. It's just going to be one less at bat that you do get. So keep that in mind. And once again, for the progression within the dashboard, you always have to consider, you know, if it's 6 games, tally 9 hits and 5 extra base hits. For the first game, if you don't get at least 2 hits, there's no point in keeping it. You might as well restart, so you don't have to restart later on. And we'll talk more about that as we go. This one for the Diamondbacks, tally 3 extra base hits, 3 extra base hits and 3 plate appearances. There's not much that I can really say about this one other than wait for your pitch. Once again, you do get, I believe it's Gerard Dyson, Ketel Marte, and I think it's Eddie Escobar, or it might be David Peralta. I'm not too sure, but nonetheless, it didn't take me that long. I thought this was going to be a lot more difficult than it was, but for me personally, I didn't have a lot of trouble. Once again, the best advice, this one is pretty straightforward, is to just wait for your pitch and do not swing at whatever garbage they give you. This is on veteran difficulty, so that is what I'm going to recommend to you right there. And obviously, you're going to want to try to stretch out everything. Even if it doesn't seem like you're going to be able to get to second base, you might as well try, because, you know, you have no other choice. So that's that one right there. Tally 10 total bases with Albert Pujols. This one, and this goes for this and the Honus Wagner one that we're going to see in the warning one. If you don't get a hit your first at bat, you might as well quit. And remember, once you're in a game, you can just restart it from the main menu. You don't have to back out. If you don't get a hit, you might as well restart. I think I did 2 home runs and 2 singles within here. It's kind of random. Sometimes your team gives you more offensive support, so you're going to get 5 or 6 at bats. Sometimes you're only going to get 4. So, you know, it is a little bit luck of the draw based on there, but you are going to have to hit probably at least 1 home run, more or less. And I did power swing for this one. I don't remember what pitcher I faced. It's on All-Star, but this is not quite what signature Pujols. I looked at, he's a 95 overall. You can power swing. A lot of these I did power swing on just because you don't need singles. In regular games, you would want singles just to get on base, try to inch in runs like there. You need to smack and score, or not score, to tally up total bases here, so I did power swing. This one with Willie Stargell, this was really pretty easy for me. Once again, I did hit a bunch of home runs with Willie Stargell, so that was no issue, and I was able to get this done. I don't think I had to dashboard all that much, if even at all. Once again, it goes pretty straightforward. Just wait for your pitch, and I know it sounds like, oh no, like obviously wait for your pitch, but some people don't really understand that, don't have other prior things, don't have a friend talking to you that's distracting you, don't be investing in a movie or a TV show. Just strictly focus on the game, which isn't like moments usually. It's more usually monotonous and not that difficult. This one's you do have to focus in on, and once again, you're going to have to judge your progress. You know, if you're not getting at least like 2-3 hits or 2 hits and an extra base hit within your first game, there's no point in keeping it. Just restart back from square one, and once you start to see progress, then you're going to go on a roll. And you know, I would always recommend, if you don't get a hit in a game, just do a dashboard. So let's say you're 2 games in and you have 4 hits, 2 extra base hits, and a home run. If your next game you don't get a hit, you might as well dashboard. You know, don't try to put too much on yourself. Even if at the end you have like 3 games remaining, just dashboard. There's no point really not to it. It's going to save you problems in the long run. Here against the Seattle Mariners, once again, wait for your pitch. There's not much to say. This is one single game. Usually there's more to talk about in others, but this is pretty straightforward. I did win this on the first try. I did have to go into extra innings, I do believe, because they hit a cheap home run off me, Yangarvis Solarte, I believe. But I did ended up hitting a walk-off, and it was pretty dope. It was really cool. I really enjoyed it. And I'll be honest with you, some people might disagree, but I kind of had fun doing these. You know, they were a fun little or I wouldn't say they were a fun challenge, but they were a tough challenge, and that's something you don't really see with moments. Usually you're just gliding through them, which I'll talk a little bit more later. Let's keep on going though. This one with Joey Gallo, it took me quite a while to get rolling. I did power swing once again here. Your PCI isn't huge because of course he doesn't have great vision, but I did keep power swinging. It is 7 home runs through 10 games. Once again, if I didn't hit a home run, I would just restart because there's no point not to. And you do face a righty. I believe it's Mike Fiers in your first game, so there's no point not to restart. And then once I got on a roll, I just kept cruising. I was hitting 1 or 2 home runs pretty much every game, and then I ended up getting that done pretty quickly. This one is tough, and I definitely do have some tips about this one right here. Basically, in 5 games, these are 9-inning games. Strike out 35 batters. Do not give up 5 runs. This was the first one that I actually encountered some difficulty difficulty within. And here's what I'm going to say about this one. So you start off with Justin Verlander, and what you're going to want to do is say about 7 strikeouts per game. The interesting thing about this, they're 9-inning games. If you quit out of it, you know, let's say if you're in the middle of a game and you quit out of it, that is something I did quite a lot. If I had 7 strikeouts with Verlander and I got myself into a pickle, because this is what happened. I had given up 2 runs already. I had 7 strikeouts with Verlander, and they had the bases loaded with nobody out. I quit out of the moment because I had already made good progress towards my strikeouts, and it wasn't worth the risk. You know, maybe I could have worked out of it, but not likely. I probably would have given up at least 1 more run, which would have had more problems later on, but I just quit out of the game, and it still counts that progress, remember, because in a multi-game moment, it counts for that progress you got in the game. And if you quit a game, it's just basically like you forfeit a Dynasty game. It saves all the statistics. So I got the 7 strikeout progress, and I still had 3 runs left in my bank, and I didn't have to worry about that. That's something super important, and you're going to have to realize. Another thing with the dashboard method, you have to make sure to quit out of the game before the ball lands. I know one time in particular, I could only give up 2 more home runs, and there was a ball that looked like it was going to go over the wall. This is at Polo Grounds, so you know anything could happen. It's pretty wet and wild, mind you, but it looked like it might go over the wall. I dashboarded the hell up out of there. If it even looks like it, you might as well quit. Remember, you can always pause. I remember, if it looks like they're going to hit a home run, if they're about to score a run and that's going to end the moment for you, pause the game and go ahead and hit the dashboard, and that's going to get you right back to where you were before you started that game. And that is super important. You have to dashboard unless you are just like the best pitcher alive. You're going to have to dashboard on this one. You know, and it's tough. I definitely recommend to throw a lot of high fastballs. A lot of guys that you face have low vision, so they are a little bit easier to strike out. Make sure, give your best, give your worst to the starting pitchers that you face, because those should be free strikeouts. You know, don't treat it like a Dynasty game. Don't throw fastballs down the middle. Throw pitches that they're not going to hit. They have like no discipline. They're going to swing it no matter what you throw. Throw good pitches to them. Those are easy, free strikeouts. That was definitely my most tough moment right there. Tally 10 total bases with Honey Wagner. Just like the Albert Pujols one, same thing goes. Just try to do the same thing. This is at Polo Grounds, so it's a bit different. I think I hit all my home runs inside the park with Honus Wagner. Utilize the speed. You know, if you can get it to the corners, do that, and I'm going to talk about that later. For moments at Polo Grounds, it's a good thing to be a little bit late or a little bit early and try to push it to the poles, because of course it's not all that deep. You know, it's like 220 some feet, I believe, to the poles, so that is a good idea. Right here, down 5 in the bottom of the 8th, this was really tough as well. This was the second or the third actual hard moments, I would say. I had to go into extras once again. You're down by 5. If you don't pretty much tie, or I wouldn't say tie, I tied the game up after the 8th inning. If you don't score at least like 3 runs, I'd recommend just quit out and restart it. If you don't get a hit within like the first 2 outs, restart it. There's no point. You're just wasting time. It's better to go back and restart 2 outs rather than 2 innings, if that makes any sense. So that one right there, just focus in. And for the ones using your Dynasty team, you're going to find it is definitely more beneficial if you have a good team out there. You know, I have a 97 overall team, so it's going to be a hell of a lot easier for somebody like me than somebody who has a 90 overall team. I have really good bullpen guys, which really helped me out in situations like this where I was able to tie the game up and I didn't really have to worry about it. This is on All-Star. You're facing, I believe this is the American League All-Star team, but they have Kenley Jansen pitching for some reason, even though he's never been in the American League. You know, that is the important thing. I have really good bullpen, so I don't really have to worry about that, but just keep that in mind. Wait for your pitch, look for the good pitches, don't swing at the first pitch, and just work counts, work walks. That's going to go in your favor. This one in particular, Kenley Jansen's the only pitcher they have, so the more pitches he throws, the more tired he's going to get, the more likelihood that he's going to hang one right down the middle and you're going to get a hold of it. So that is important right there. Here's the one that I thought was going to be difficult. I completed this on the second try. The Yukon Yetis versus basically the Cooperstown Legend Signature Series squad, like the Goon squad that you're going to face. This is once again at Polo Grounds. What I would recommend is be early or late. I was hitting home runs with these common or bronze players. I don't know exactly what overall they were, but This is not as difficult as it may seem, and then just pitch really carefully. Once again, you face Bob Gibson on the mound. I do believe work counts. Once again, I cannot stress that enough. On All-Star difficulty, Bob Gibson has like 80 hits per, or 80 walks per 9. He is going to throw balls. The counts are going to get high. He's going to throw some bad pitches, so just wait those out and wait for the good ones, and you're definitely going to have to practice with it. It's not easy to just say like, oh, work counts, just be patient, don't swing. Just kind of think of it. Don't even think about the first pitch, you know, probably just hold it off, because usually it's not going to be a strike anyway, and if it is, it might just be one on the black, not worth offering on. But that's my tips for that one. It's tough, you know, just try. If you don't score within the first inning, I was pretty much restarting. I think I did that like 4 times, and then once I scored, they hit a walk-off against me once, which kind of pissed. It was down to the final out too. Really kind of, you know, fuck it, like really pickled my pepper, I guess I would say. But that's the best that I can give you for that one. Then this one finally is definitely the hardest one, I would say. Signature Series Squad. You have to strike out 8 batters, steal 1 base, score 5 runs, tally 4 extra base hits, win 1 game. Once again, a moment that is going to be so much more difficult if you do not have a good team equipped by your side. Once again, I have a better team, so it is a little bit easier. This is at Polo Grounds. Once again, I would recommend having speed guys at your corners or in the whole outfield, because they need to track ground. They got Honus Wagner, they got Ricky Henderson, they have a lot of speed on their team, so if they get past you, if it goes all the way to the wall at Polo, it's a triple or an inside the park home run, something you have to think about. Right here, once again, if you don't score in the first inning, just restart the game. There's no point in not doing it. Make sure you have some fast guys that can steal, even if you don't want them in your regular lineup. Have Ichiro on your bench or something, so that stolen base, do not forget about it. That's something I made sure to do. Get the stolen base early. I think I got it like in the 3rd inning. Make sure you get that. The way I got it, I think stealing from 2nd to 3rd is actually easier this year than from 1st to 2nd, just because they don't pick off as much, so, and they won't try to pitch out, which makes it more easy. So I just got one to the wall with Joe Morgan. Could have been an inside the park home run, but I stopped at 2nd and was able to get the stolen base easy and clean like that. The biggest difficulty you're going to have, or at least I did, is the not walk 2 batters. I think you always face Kershaw, and they gave me Nolan Ryan. I don't know why, because I assumed Kershaw, if that was their one, I would get Kershaw as well. I got Nolan Ryan, of course, notorious for not having good walks per 9. Once I think I was up 8-0, and that's pretty important. You're going to want to build a nice healthy lead. Just throw fastballs. I put in Trevor Hoffman, one of my best control guys, and just threw fastballs, and they were just hitting it right to me. I think they scored 1 run, which was off a home run. Otherwise, I was pretty successful. You do not want to lose it like that. I was so stressed. Even when I worked it to a 2-ball count, just throw fastballs. Get a good size lead. You're going to have to score 5 runs anyway. Try to pitch carefully throughout, just like you're pitching for your life. It's on Hall of Fame difficulty against a really good team, so try to pitch really effectively. But once you do build up a lead, then try to pitch carefully, because I'd already given up 1 walk at that point. So if I walked another guy, that's it. You know, I start from square one. I have to go back to the beginning of the game, and I wasn't really trying to do that. So that is super, super important. Do not walk somebody. Don't let that be the reason why you lose this one right here. Otherwise, like I said, you are facing Kershaw. I think it's guaranteed. I tried it. Once again, I exited out and went back in, still Kershaw. So it might be a good idea to load your lineup up with right-handers, because that's who you're going to face. So I think that could be pretty interesting right there. Otherwise, I think that's pretty much it, you know, for like all the individual moments and all the tips that I have for each one in general. Like I said, the dashboard method, super important, and just realizing when you're going to want to use it. You know, that's the big thing, because sometimes you don't need it, sometimes you do. Another thing for these, I guess another thing I want to add on for these multi-game hitting moments, let's say you're down to your last game and you need a certain amount. If you're not going to get it, and you can tell it's like the 7th inning, there's 2 outs, and you are the bottom of the 7th inning, you're winning, quit out. Always try to think, am I gonna get another at bat? Look at the situation, look how many outs, look what the inning, are you home or are you away, and kind of judge and base it off that. You do not want to lose it like that, because if it gets to that point, it's going to count as a game. As soon as the game ends, as soon as you see the guys start walking out from the dugout, going to shake hands or slap cocks or whatever, it is going to exit out of the, or it's not going to exit out of the game, but it is going to finalize, and it is going to count like that, and you're going to have to start over from square one. So that is super important. I quickly want to show you guys. I do believe I did discover both of them. I know I discovered, yep, I discovered Andrew Miller, and then I also discovered Jim Edmonds. So that was pretty cool. These were my first cards that I ever have discovered myself. So that was pretty awesome. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even realize that I discovered Jim Edmonds. Somebody told me about it. That was super cool. So hopefully with these tips, and remember, I'm not a World Series player. Hell, if I can do it, you can do it too. It's worth it. Let me know if you guys have any other questions. Please let me know down below in the comment section. I'll gladly use any of my personal experience from doing this and going ahead and helping you guys out so you can finish it as well. But if you guys enjoy this one, please leave a like down below. But guys, are great. There comes out. Eat.